Hey guys, so I have an interesting video today. We're going to be comparing the NigtSky to the BigSky and which one you should get. And for me, it's easy to say because I'm selling the BigSky, so I want to make this video before I do that, and that's to stay with the NigtSky. So I've had the BigSky since 2017, early 2017, and I've had the NigtSky since it officially launched and was available for retail, and I've liked it since. I did sell it for about a month because I wanted to go back to the BigSky, and the BigSky just didn't do it for me, so I had to get another NigtSky. Now the BigSky is going. I have not used this in over a year. The only time I used it was when I got the East Beast synth. I was trying some stuff out, and I just wanted to check something out. Yeah. So let's get started with this path. It's the micro freak into the dig, into the BigSky, into the NigtSky. Dig will be used later. You'll hear what that's for. I do have a purpose for that. So I have a sequence here on the micro freak. It's just this cute little like puck sequence, kind of like a JRPG style thing. It's a little on the bouncy side. It's cool. It has some pauses so we can hear the algorithms do their thing. And we'll start here with the BigSky. So I use this for only 3 algorithms: Bloom, Cloud, and Shimmer, and I can get all those sounds pretty much and better on the NigtSky. So I will say that if you need your basic hall, room, and plate and spring, the spring's actually not that good on the BigSky. I mean, some people disagree, but I just don't like spring in general, and I don't think the spring is good. But stay with the BigSky if you need your basic stuff. So here's your trademark, the cloud that everybody knows from the BigSky. It's extremely bright. It's lovely. It's got good modulation. Without modulation, it actually sounds pretty bad. Let's hear that really quick. I think that the modulation is what makes the cloud algorithm so beautiful. I think that could be said about most reverb algorithms. Diffusion and modulation are the 2 hallmarks of a very good reverb algorithm, in my opinion. People can disagree, but that's my opinion. So yeah, it sounds wonderful. It's great. It's very bright, even with the tone control down. Let's make it a little wet there. You can really, really hear how bright it is. I have it set to around there. Even there it's bright. It gets super bright too. Listen to that. Bloom's more of the same, like I said. I'll just go over that really quick before switching to the NigtSky. Both pretty wonderful. Alright, so let's switch over to NigtSky. I use the diffuse. I have the glare on there, sorry about that. Let's turn that off. And there's no tone control. There's no high cut, no low cut going on right now. And that's the bass. With some modulation, of course. Turn the modulation down. Kind of sounds like the cloud when you do that. It's a little more ringy, I guess. You do have full control over the depth and the speed. You can change to pitch, filter with your modulation, and you have different waveforms. Very cool. I do use that sometimes. The only unfortunate part is you can't have the filter, pitch, and verb modulated at the same time. You can only choose one of those. I wish you could do all of them. I wonder if it's a limitation of the processor. Shouldn't be, but it might be. So yeah, pause there for a second. Just listen to it. Length becomes your decay control. Size and pitch is specific to the NigtSky. It changes the processing speed of the reverb, I believe. That's what it sounds like. I always keep it pretty maxed out to be a big, huge algorithm. I use diffuse mostly. You have sparse, which is like a multi-tap without diffusion almost. it has some smearing in it, so it does have diffusion. It's just not very strong. Dense is a plate. Diffuse is what I generally use. I use sparse sometimes. When I'm using this as a pitch effect with reverb, then I sometimes use sparse to not make it overwhelming. Alright, so let's make it sound just otherworldly. Let's add some high cut. I'm gonna depth up the reverb modulation, and that's where I like it. Swap between the cloud and this. Still too bright. Still lovely. Alright, let's go into one of the things that the NigtSky does obviously better. I mean, it's not even an opinion, it just does it better. The infinite hold, you can latch it. So, let's listen to it over here first. You have to hold down the foot switch to do it. Hear how the reverb line is now frozen? Unfortunately, none of my new notes get reverberated. And that leads into... it's being held again. But, can you hear that the... Here, I'll turn this off. I can now... Oops. Those new notes get reverberated. So yes, the new notes get reverberated. You can turn that on or off. I keep it on, obviously, because that's just such a cool feature. All right, so beautiful sounding. A little more complicated to set up because you have all the controls like just out, and it doesn't have an easy to use menu that has text in it to tell you what the alternate controls are. There's lots of alternate controls. To do that, you hold down a switch and you use the reverb control. So like if I hold down this one over here, the length, and control reverb, that controls the pre-decay, or pre-delay, sorry, which is useful for making a bigger space and things like that. You can make the glimmer, which is like it adds some extra harmonics, make it quieter or louder. Control the drive by holding that down and changing it. So you just have to be aware what the extra functions are because there's no like physical menu to tell you what's going on. This has that. I mean, you just go here, it tells you exactly what everything does. And you can also set either one of these to be a specific parameter. So that's kind of cool. The convenience does not outweigh how this sounds, at least for my use case. So I have the dig here, and we're going to go into why I have the dig here. So I just want to preface this saying that these both sum to mono, not a big deal. Before they go into the reverb line, you just have to be aware of that. Some effects can disappear if there's like a phase inversion, like the MXR M134, for example. That's a chorus that phase inverts. Your chorusing sound can just disappear if it's going through in stereo and summing to mono when you're using it in stereo. So just be aware of that. I have a dig here. We'll go back into the sequence. So ping pong. We're gonna go 100% wet. And what'll happen is you'll hear that the ping pong will be channeled into the center, and then a stereo spread will be added after the fact. So you will lose the left and right bouncing separation. Notice how it's just coming right from the center. You'll hear some variances in volume between each of the like ping pongs, obviously, because they're dying out and switching channels, but you won't have full separation. Just be aware of that. Both do that. That's why I have this here. Only just to test that and show that. They both have some to mono. Alright. together, just because somebody will ask. That's pretty cool, but not enough for me to keep it. I have a lot of other reverbs to do that with. The Ventress comes to mind. The Ventress is my second favorite reverb right now after the NigtSky. It's very close. I'll be doing a separate video on that sometime soon. I've had that for ages as well, never did a proper video. Yeah. Now, let's go over another thing that I like about the NigtSky. You can add shimmer to any of the textures. So anywhere you are, you can add shimmer. This has its own shimmer, which we'll bring up. Let me go here. You do have more shimmer control on this, but you can only add it to the one shimmer algorithm, which I don't think sounds all that great as a reverb at itself. It's a little thin sounding, even when you switch it to the proper shimmer type, which is the regen, and add some mod. It's lovely, but it's not the same as adding shimmer to, like, let's say, I wish you could add the shimmer to the cloud. But here, we can add the shimmer to the diffuse, and that sounds gorgeous. You also get 2 pitch shifters in here, so you can have a shimmer down or octave down, octave up, for instance, at the same time. This you only have 1 control. And you can do 2 octaves up. On this, you can only do 1 octave up over here. We'll change the pitch size. You can hear the shimmer a little better. And the controls all, like the high cut plays into how the shimmer sounds, size does. I turn the size all the way up. I turn up a little bit of high cut, and I usually use an up shimmer to add just some extra, I guess, pizzazz to everything, like an exciter almost. And then I like to add some glimmer, which adds harmonics. Low adds it to the lower frequencies, I guess. And that sounds really good, but it sounds especially good with a pad. We'll bring that in a second. Let's go with that. We're just going to stay with the NigtSky for the rest of the video, and with how beautiful it sounds. Alright, so let's bring up the Milky Way pad. And turn off the sequencer. Pretty boring. Actually, we'll bring in... let's just bring in the cloud really quick, because I just wanted the comparison again with the pad. The bloom. That was an unfair comparison. But yeah, I turned off the shimmer and the glimmer, but yeah. Make sure this is really wet. Still beautiful. Better. Especially with how that high cut works and with the filtering. I didn't have it in the regen line. There we go. That'll be better. Cloud. And then back to the NigtSky. So we'll stay with the NigtSky for the rest of this, like I said. do is I'm going to play a low note. Let's even go lower. We'll hold that into the infinite. Shimmer's being added. Some glimmer as well. We'll do this. We'll do it down. Oh, it's too low, but yeah, you get the idea. Now we can play on top of that. And you can hear that glimmer, how gorgeous it is. Just wow. And that is why I love the NigtSky so much. You add a tape delay or any delay in front of that. Makes it so much better. So yeah, my overview between why I like the NigtSky more than the BigSky. The BigSky, I will say, is a little easier to use in a live situation because you have easier controls for your presets, and it is easier to dial things in. You don't have to remember submenus. That said, I think the NigtSky sounds fantastic, and personally, I think it sounds better with the limited algorithms it has and does more that I need it to do compared to the BigSky. It also has that awesome mod section. I'll be making more videos of the NigtSky. I know I've had it for quite some time. I just haven't really made any videos about it. I've used it in a lot of my music if you go back through my channel, but again, yeah, it takes a long time to make these kind of videos, so that's why I don't do it all that often. Coming up next, though, I want to do some more delay stuff. I think I'm going to be working on some tape delay stuff. I want to do a video on the NUX NDD7 while it's still relevant, and then I'll bring in the Volante again since I haven't done a full proper thing about the Volante in a while, and since I've had it for so long. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I can really say. The NigtSky's fantastic. It does so much, especially with the modulation again. And the filtering section is wonderful. The Shimmer being able to add it to anything. The infinite hold functionality, which exists on the BigSky, but you can play over the infinite hold and still get reverberated. And this latches, so that's cool. You don't have to keep holding down the switch. It's good for synth people.